Hello, friends, and welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Hydaelyn and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
Hello, Levi.
Hello, Jen. How's it going?
It's going.
Lame.
I just had chicken.
Thank you for the update.
You're welcome.
Welcome, Jen, to episode 69.
Nice.
That's all. Okay, today we are continuing on with the main story quest. We'll be playing up through the quest, All Things in Time. First, what happened last time, Jen?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We killed the ultimate weapon?
Okay, done. Nailed it.
Thank God. Okay. And La Habre. Killed him. Killed him good.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, except not. All that stuff and everything we've been talking about since then all unlocks after we complete that quest beat. So along with all the other BS we've been doing recently, there's also a main story invitation from Minfilia. In the Waking Sands, we say, hey, what's up, Minfilia? What else you got for us? But we are immediately interrupted by Tataru, who comes in to report that the gentleman from Ashgana Imports has just left.
Yeah, she's got like a pained look on her face. She's like, yeah, I get why you didn't want to meet with that guy. Ugh. So it seems like, lately the Scions have had to entertain a bunch of people trying to get in on that sweet, sweet Scion goodness.
Yes, we've gone from being a secret organization to being anything but.
Yeah, everybody knows who we are, why we are, where we are.
We are being bombarded by offers of sponsorship that comes with a price. So we give you Scions some backing and then you do some favors for us. And the group just now, or at least the gentleman just now from Ashgana Imports, they apparently wanted some help to resolve some business dealings.
Great.
So trying to hire the Scions like some thugs or something.
Right, no, or like a bunch of sellswords or like the Pinkertons. We're not doing any of that.
Because the Scions were founded with the intent that they be a neutral party. But also, some money might be nice too. Could get a lot more done if you had a bit more financial backing.
Oh, sure. It's always nice. So it's like, if we did compromise a bit and let people hire us out, how much more good could we do with all that extra money or whatever it is? So Minfilia is kind of like stuck on this question and she asks us to go into the break room. I'm calling it the break room. It's the break room. And get everybody else's feedback on this. What do they think?
How about the wake room?
No. I get what you're doing. No.
Can I suggest we take a poll of the Scions to get their opinion on that name?
On what the break room should be called?
Yes.
Okay.
We actually go take a poll of the Scions, though, to get their opinions on this whole finance question. So we go around and talk to all the peeps.
All right. So we're just going to go down the list because they're all here. So we're just going to go nearest to farthest. Well, I talked to Ishola first and we're like, hey, so Minfilia has this proposal about blah, blah, blah. What do you think? And she's like, so remember our conversation with the Admiral when the Limsons sent word of Titan's summoning? And I reminded Merlveb that the reason we're here right now is because you guys violated the treaty with the kobolds. And the kobolds are going to respond in a way that is completely appropriate, considering your transgression. So the only reason we're here right now is because you fucked up. Okay, this is your fault. And she was like, I was in a position to say that shit in Admiral Merlveb's face because we are unaffiliated with anybody. If we suddenly kind of, had affiliations or got in bed with somebody, then we would be not in a very good position to call that shit out. Because we don't have any allegiance to one state over another, we can kind of call them out when they try to distort the facts to fit their narrative.
She says that, but also despite the fact that the Limsons were the ones who had done the wrong, we still supported them. So I think that her point kind of falls flat because we still supported and will continue to support the Eorzeans, even if they are not in the moral right.
Well, what else are we going to do? Our job is to keep primals out of circulation.
Sure.
So, unfortunately, Titan summoning was because of, this wasn't like Ascians whispering into anybody's ear necessarily. This was, they I mean, there's still some of that, but unfortunately the reasoning for the summoning, it's still, we're not like supporting them. We're not supporting what it is that they did, but we have to deal with the primal threat.
I'm just saying that there are strings already. I think that her point about, like, she says that she could talk back to the Admiral, but sure, to what extent exactly?
Well,
what did that accomplish, though?
I mean, but yeah, if we had started getting like buddy with the Limsons for whatever reason, like they were, subsidizing our headquarters, or they were giving us supplies, or whatever it is, we would feel less inclined to call them out on their bullshit, because now we feel like, we're in their debt in some way. It like fucks up everything.
All I'm saying is that her calling out the Admiral on her bullshit amounted to nothing, so that feels like a hollow point. What you're saying is not incorrect, Jen. I'm just saying that there were no points scored by Y'shtola calling out Merylvib.
No, but I mean, I agree with Y'shtola. I'm glad that we are in a position to be able to like speak truth to power. And that's something we absolutely should maintain, whatever the situation is. That was an example that she could use in the face of us asking this question. But going forward, I'm like, yeah, absolutely, that's an important position to maintain.
So who's next, Jen?
Next is Thancred. He doesn't really have a bunch to say, and he kind of doesn't really say anything except...
Yeah, he says like a lot of words about nothing.
I know. Like, yeah, guess
how
we'll
about
have to
them
figure...
Alamegans?
I know, like we'll just...
Thanks, Thancred.
He's like, power begets money, and money begets power, and all that. So we're kind of we're at a crossroads, he says, and we could easily lend our power to all sorts of causes. One of them being the Alamegans. If we got behind the Alamegan resistance, we could potentially free them from Garlean rule. But all
right. Well, thanks for the waste of time. Moving on.
Papalymo, he's a little bit more passionate about stuff. He has opinions. So he's not in support of becoming Scions for hire. The fact that Scion headquarters are based in Ul'dah has already created awkwardness in a lot of conversations. He has to explain, yes, we're headquartered in Ul'dah, but we're not affiliated, but so it's hard because like the image of what where we are and all of that, it may as well be the reality, so it's hard. And he's like, if we start engaging in this like quid pro quo shit with randos, we may as well just pledge allegiance to Ul'dah right now and like say fuck it. But then Ida might enjoy some bribes, so I don't know. And we talked to Ida, and she's like, yeah, I really enjoy these bribes. Wah wah.
However, Papalymo is making her return them.
Oh yeah, she's like, all these gifts are so amazing, but I can't keep them. And that's what Ida has to say. And then I think last but not least is Rianche.
He says that
he's still kind of
deciphering the intention of prospective financiers muddies the actual mission of the Scions.
Yeah.
If you're too busy vetting every prospective funder, you can't do what you need to do, which is dealing with this recurring problem of the primals.
Correct. So we can't let that shit distract us from our mission at large here. While the money would be nice, it's like, this is stupid. Like, how are we gonna try to figure out everybody's ulterior motives, because they will all have them.
Last stop is Alphinaud.
Yeah.
We get some grade A pathologic Alphinaud in this segment.
Oh my God.
Like, he is stone cold.
He is taking charge and making edicts, and
it's not just that. He is using all of his knowledge and all of his guile to manipulate people right where he wants them.
Oh, he is so
passive
aggressive.
And emotions be damned.
Kind of, yeah. But he's projecting. He's a very scared young man. He's doing what he's got to do. That's my interpretation. So he's faking it till he makes it, I guess.
Yeah, Alphinaud has this already figured out. He doesn't need to give any input. He's going to take it right to the source.
Yeah. Oh, Minfilia wants counsel? Then I shall give it to her.
So we head back into the Solar with Alphinaud, and he makes a declaration. The Scions must leave Ul'dah. As long as we are in their territory, the Scions cannot act as a neutral party.
Yeah.
The Syndicate will not let such a powerful independent force remain that way.
Yep. He's like, you ever wonder why Vesper Bay doesn't have its own aetheryte? Yep. So we can all blame the Syndicate, okay?
And this is only one example of how they will passively hinder our operations as long as we operate unaffiliated in their territory.
Yeah. Yeah, they already are of the mind that we owe them just by allowing us to exist there.
But worry not, he has a solution.
Sure.
We can go somewhere independent of the major powers to Mordona. And at this point, Minfilia is shocked of this whole concept of uprooting everything they've built here in Vesper Bay. But Alphinaud starts to cut right home by citing the big L, Louis Soir,
Oh my God.
bringing back his ideals, pulling on his familial legacy to make his point. And this gets Minfilia very upset. She turns around and looks at the framed staff Tupsamati and dismisses Alphinaud. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, he's such a manipulative little jerk. He's like, remember the shared ideals of the Scions and the path of the 12. Ideals that represent our bond more than as just comrades in arms. We are your family just as much as, and Minfilia is like, you're dismissed.
Yeah, you can tell, though, that he got her because
he got her.
She punches back. She's like, hey, how about your family?
Oh, dude, like this whole exchange is like, it's very bitter. Before he's like, gotcha, here I go, bye.
Because Minfilia says, hey, look to your family, aka
like,
Alisaie.
Right, I'm like, so, like, what about your shit? Don't you have some of your own affairs to get in order? And he's like, oh, I'm handling it, don't you worry. I am trying not to get my personal affairs messed up with the needs of the order.
Yeah, he hired those two Jobuses to escort her around.
Right. Yeah.
The big bodyguards that were chasing her out of the quicksand way back in like the level 20 range.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of them since. But yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. This is quite the barb. But yeah, he's like, I left those affairs to men better suited than I, lest my personal affairs come before the order.
So
Minfilia.
Minfilia kicks us out too, so she can ruminate on this conversation. Go help Alphinaud with whatever
bullshit.
And we're gonna help Alphinaud to do some more cold-hearted scheming.
I mean, goddamn, yeah, he's playing chess here for sure. So he's upset that Minfilia doesn't see the obvious, like to him, that we all need to pack up our shit and move to neutral territory. And he's thinking, well, you know what? I think what is giving her pause here is these rumors that have started circulating.
These fanciful rumors.
Basically, well, Minfilia's mom, adopted mom, she died in the calamity.
Her name is Philamine.
Yeah, it's hard for me to. It's Lamin. Is it Lamin? Flamine?
I found a citation here that calls it Lamine.
Lamine.
Yes.
Okay.
So Minfilia is distracted by these rumors of her adoptive mother, Philamine, being out in the open. It was thought that she died during the calamity, but her body was never recovered. She, Philamine, was a popular songstress in Ul'dah.
Like the songstress of Ul'dah.
I think that name needs some workshopping, honestly. Like, you can't think of something more creative than the songstress for, like, your star singer.
The nightingale of Ul'dah.
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe she picked it, and you're being very rude to Philamine right now.
Well, she's dead, so I can't be rude to her.
Oh my god.
Or so we think.
Yeah, I spit on her memory.
But there have been some sightings, and her fans have been abuzz about these supposed sightings of her. Alphinaud suspects that word of this has gotten back to Minfilia, and so she's all emotional about her so-called mother or whatever, so can't see the cold-hearted reason of Alphinaud's arguments.
Right. Yeah, exactly. She's doing the thing I told her not to do, getting your personal affairs all messed up and Scion shit. God. Okay, so what we need to do is follow this thread, see where it goes. We need to figure out once and for all, is Philomene dicking around in Eorzea somewhere? If she is, we need to reunite them so then we can make sure Minfilia doesn't have anything else going on in her brain so she can agree to move to Mordona, like I said. Amazing.
The last sighting of Philomene was in Costa del Sol, so we head on over there.
Yeah, we're gonna go talk to our little capitalist friend, Master Gegaruju, in his little chair.
And we and Alphinaud do indeed find Gegaruju soaking up them rays in his palatial coastal estate / resort.
Cabana, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so we ask him, and in the, or we I don't know what we do. There's a bit of a prologue that we skip over because reasons. But
wait, what?
Well, there's like, we walk up and we have, we do like a silent, like, here's our problem. And that's when he finds out that Philomene and the songstress of Ul'dah are the same person.
When we show up, he is mourning. He's talking to himself, and we interrupt him because he's going, "Oh, my sweet Mikote muse, the sweet siren of the sands." And he's like, "Oh, whoa, oh, wow, didn't mean that to be overheard."
Yeah, and we're like, oh, we knew who that is. Her name is Philomene. And he's like, Philomene? What? And then in the creepiest way possible, he confirms that she does indeed live. And if he had known before she bailed, he would have kept her tied to his bedpost.
Keeping it classy there, Gegaruju.
My God. Is
right on
every
brand.
Male Lalafell a complete creeper?
I think in A Realm Reborn, yes.
Yeah.
Honestly.
God damn. They're all like gross in some way.
Oh.
Papalimo's cool.
Wedge is also...
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
he's precious.
There are two examples
there are
of non-creepy male Lalas.
God damn it.
But there are a lot of them, no doubt.
Especially in Ul'dah, that's just the way it is. Anyway, so, well, fuck. That was easy.
Yeah, so she's gone off apparently to go and ply her trade for the riffraff of the West.
Yeah, he's mad.
So we're going to go and try and track down her trail in Wineport. So we ask around Wineport. There was indeed someone who was mucking around there who had a very distinct perfume. So distinct and fragrant, in fact, it threw off the wine tastings that they were trying to hold there.
Well, we're talking to Birklate.
Yes.
He's that guy who was like, I'm not giving you any of my wine, you low life, ne'er-do-well, can't appreciate good wine fucks.
This was during the Company of Heroes quest.
Yeah. This is when we discovered, or we revitalized the Wineport wine industry because we found that ancient vine.
Bacchus.
The Bacchus shit. Yeah. Anyway, so when we find Birklate in classic him fashion, he's like publicly berating his staff, as always. And they're very sad. And he's like, no, she's beautiful, but she stunk. Like, I could not allow her to like hang out, so I banished her. And you know what? You might want to ask your nose friend over there, Shomani Lomani, because if I can smell her, he'll be able to smell her for the rest of her life.
Shomani Lomani is the blind former Company of Heroes member.
He's like the vintner in training, I guess. I mean, he is a vintner, but he's kind of new to it. But he does have an incredible palate, obviously.
He sent the songstress, supposedly Philomene, out into the rainforest to collect these blooms that are used to make this fragrance. They can be found in the shade of the cliff in Raincatcher Gully, so we head down there to track down this person.
Yeah. Well, these flowers are just basically giant hydrangeas, like person-sized hydrangeas.
Well, it's like a big clump of them that tower over a normal person's height.
Yes. They're big.
They big.
They big. When we head out there to see who this person is, it's Philomene. She's there. There she is.
Yeah, just a gray-haired Mikote with the name card Philomene, just picking flowers.
Just chilling.
That was way too easy for this years-long, supposedly dead person.
Oh my God, I remember doing this the first time, and this whole quest line felt so much, I don't know, heavier when I did it then. I felt like we're just going to go out and find Minfilia's long-lost mother? Jesus Christ. And it took no effort. No effort, no time. There she is. So I guess in retrospect, I don't know.
Getting ahead of ourselves here a little bit, but this is pretty lame in my opinion, how just quickly over and done this is.
It wasn't even like maybe there was somebody that looked like her and we found the doppelganger first. And then we have a little bit more digging to do. Like, make us work for it. Like, this is a big thing to try to do.
On that note, this section was one of those who were streamlined by the A Realm Reborn main story quest kind of cut and condense process. But what they cut out, though, there's like one more step of searching for her. You had to go to like Camp Drybone and talk to Father Iliad, because fuck knows why.
Oh, that's right. No, before we go, somebody, was it Alphinaud? He was like, yes. Yeah, he was like, Father Iliad he's the one who saw this person. But we don't even talk to him. So
there was like one more stop on the way in the former version of the quest. And then also after you grab her, you have to help her assemble the ingredients for this perfume so she can make it before she will leave. It does not justify the brevity of the story. This is not like quality, pound the pavement, mystery solving content. It's just more tasky work that got cut. No, like this whole thing could have been like a movie, like finding somebody's long lost mother, like uncovering the mystery of whether she's dead or not. And it's just like burp burp done. I know they have a whole story to tell, but this does not do service to the plot beat that they are telling here. I respect the situation not at all, because it was so easy to attain. Yeah. Oh well. I'll gripe again in a moment once we get to Wineport again. So we find Philomene. She's picking flowers. She gets Gubooed. So right when we get there, Guboo pops up. We kill it. Guboo. She thanks us for our timely intervention. And we start asking about her, like, who are you? And she's suddenly alarmed. Who are we and who do we work for? Right. She's like, oh, hey, we approach her. We're like, hey, Philomene. And she's like, I don't know. Who are you? What do you work for? Being very guarded, but. Her response here, it does not feel to me like she's trying to keep it cool. I thought they were doing an amnesia thing for a second, honestly, because she acts more confused than she does she's like Philomene. Like it was like it's been years since she heard that name. Yeah. That's not the case. She's just like scrambling to try to deny who she is. So Alphinaud walks up now. He just pushes past all etiquette and he's like, all right, down to business. You're Philomene. Minfilia needs her mommy back. Let's do it. Right. Here we go. Yeah. Also, you faked your death for some reason. Why? And she's like, excuse me. As I was explaining to your associate, before you just intruded on this whole situation, he's just pissing everybody off today. She's like, I'm doing my thing. I'm making a perfume. I'm busy. And my reasons are my reasons. And I will reveal myself to Minfilia when I am fucking ready. Which means in 5 minutes. Correct. Correct. It's because it was my idea. It wasn't because you asked me. Correct. It's because I wanted to. And he was like, why not now though? And he's like, well, how about maybe we go continue this conversation? It's not really a conversation. There's nothing to do. She's spoken her piece. It's done. But he's like, let's continue talking about it in Wineport, where we're not a stone's throw from zizzes and gooboos. We go back to Wineport. This is where a quest segment got cut. What she would make you do beforehand is make you go help her assemble the perfume. I feel like I did this. I must have done this before they cut all that shit out. I remember this. Yes. Yeah. That's probably why it felt more significant to me when I did it. It doesn't cut anything meaningful, though. It adds more time and more tasks to getting it done. I think that's all it took, apparently, for me to feel like I maybe earned something, or we did a little bit more as far as like trying to convince her to come back. Because right now there's no effort. There's no effort to find her, and there was no effort in getting her to come back, despite all of these protestations and whatever. In my favorite gripe, once again, A Realm Reborn is hitting these heavy plot beats, but just like throwing them at you so fast that you can't process what they are. Yeah. Minfilia 1 has a long lost mother. She died, but she's alive. Right, like we learn all of like we didn't know this. And then there she is. All right, she's back. It's over. It's just a roller coaster in 7 seconds. Yeah. I think that they did beforehand the thing that A Realm Reborn does, which is conflating busy work for storytelling.
Right.
So they gave you things to do and made it be harder in the sense it takes more steps to accomplish the goal. It does not add an actual story.
Depth. Yeah.
So now we get back to Wineport, and she immediately is good to go. So before she was like, no, I'm not going to go yet. And now she's like, okay, let's go see Minfilia.
Who wants to give me a ride?
And then we teleport from Wineport to the Waking Sands.
So, we're all standing in Wineport, and Alphinaud's like, okay, great. Philomene's on board. I'll escort everybody back to the Waking Sands, and then boom, we're back in the Waking Sands.
Thanks, Alphinaud.
All right, thanks for the... Going to save some teleport money.
It's so abrupt. It's hilarious, just like how fast this happens.
Yeah, literally just plopped right in front of the doors to the solar. All right, well, guess we'll just get this done.
So, filling in some gaps here, we talked about the Philomene and Minfilia, formerly known as Acilia, whole storyline in the episode that we did a while back called The Scions of the Seventh Dawn. If you want a refresher, or if you skipped that one, probably worth a listen, because we go into some detail about the 1.0 Final Fantasy XIV story that this is all springing off of.
Yeah.
Once again, we are being thrown into the epilogue of 1.0 without any sort of context or preamble for the first-time players of A Realm Reborn.
Yeah, I feel like a flashback cutscene here would have been cool. I think we get it at some point about, like, when Minfilia first arrived in Ul'dah with her father, and then they were at that festival in Ul'dah, and then the Gubu got loose and killed her dad, and that's when Philomene was like, I'll take care of you. Like, there was a whole thing.
I don't recall offhand if they ever give us that cutscene in the main story. That is referenced a lot in general in the game.
I recall, like, sometimes they'll do like a flashback, like, cutscenes where it's just a series of still images, but there's like sounds. So there would be like the noises of the crowds and, shit like that.
Either way, though,
we get it at some point.
For now, though, we'll fill in the holes and recap that whole thing very briefly. Essentially, Philomene was part of a plot to stage an uprising, a Gubu breakout during a parade, and then her cohorts would defeat it and win fame, and then leverage that fame into a position of power in the city to supposedly do good, but it got all fucked up, and and the Gubu killed Minfilia's dad, and so she got orphaned, and then Philomene adopted Minfilia.
Yeah.
Minfilia's dad had worked for the Alamegan resistance, so the Imperials were hot on their trail, and they changed Acilia's name to Minfilia as part of the whole hide her identity.
Yeah, like witness protection program.
Exactly.
Yep.
There we go. Recapped, done. There's your flashback, Jen.
Nice.
And this is why Philomene has been hiding from Minfilia. Because she did not want to draw the Imperials to Minfilia and the Scions.
Right.
But now, though, because Alphinaud asked strongly, she is like, sure, why not?
I guess now's a good time.
So to do the thing that Jen does, to do a Jen here, and to patch through the roughness of the story with the best intentions, Philomene is gathering stuff for this perfume, right?
Yeah.
And this perfume is going to be for Minfilia. Like, she will give Minfilia in a minute this perfume. Maybe, just maybe, it's a coincidence that we go and track her down right now. And she was going to come back home anyway.
Yeah.
But because Alphinaud was such a dick about it, she was like, fuck you, I'm not going to...
Yeah, I'm not going to do what you tell me.
Yes, even though she actually was going to...
She was in the midst of...
So she's doing a Jen.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like, she's been absolutely invisible for 5 years, and all of a sudden, like, people are seeing her everywhere. Like, she's not being very careful in that respect at all. So that makes sense.
Sure. I mean, it doesn't explain it like that, but that is the best story I have to
otherwise
square this situation.
It's even dumber.
Anyway, we get back to the Waking Sands. Alphinaud bursts into the solar. Alphinaud bursts into the solo. Oh my fucking god, I did it again. What the hell?
Why?
Alphinaud bursts into the solar and is like, guess what, Minfilia? Mommy's back.
Yeah.
And then in comes Philomene.
She's just like, the body language, the facial expression pissed me right the fuck off. Oh, hello, long lost daughter that thought I was dead for the past 5 years. look who's back. Mommy's back. She just has this like smug ass look on her face. Like it should have been more pained. It should have been more emotional. As opposed to like, yeah, bitch, you're welcome kind of a vibe. I didn't like it at all. But we do get to see some emotion from Minfilia. Crazy. She gets a little weepy. You know, she goes in for the hug and they hug for a while and she's like, so why though? Tatru's like, I haven't seen Minfilia like this in years.
So she has not expressed human emotion in years. Checks out.
Yeah, man. She's got to keep it all bottled up for the greater good. Except when she's exchanging barbs with Alphinaud. But
yeah, Minfilia asks why Philomene's been away for so long, and then she's like, I was trying to keep the Imperials from tracking you down.
That's a valid reason.
Yep.
Like, for sure.
And now Philomene gives Minfilia 2 prezzies. The first one is this perfume that she's been working on, which was Minfilia's scent back in the day before they discontinued it, but she made it from, well, it's called Celsetia perfume, so I'm assuming that they are the Celsetia flowers.
Yeah.
She also gives Minfilia a cat's eye gem, which is another story beat from the original Final Fantasy XIV story. Minfilia was a minor under Philomene's tutelage back in the day, and this cat's eye gem was her first score. And I believe that this was part of a scene where baby Minfilia got attacked by goblins after she found this gem, and it's like a whole thing.
Yeah, minor is an Miner.
Both, actually.
Right,
yes.
yeah.
Correct. Anyway, so she gives Minfilia her original score. Now that they talk about Minfilia's dad.
Yeah,
and why they had to hide.
Mom gives her her gem back, and Minfilia was like, I got this for you. I was so proud of it. This is yours. Why are you giving it back to me? And this is just so that you can see where you were versus where you are and where you still must go. Just like keep this as like, a symbol of your origins and how far you've come, which was really great. Still, like, the whole thing is just so flat. I didn't cry at all.
That's so you know it's busted.
I know. It takes fucking nothing to make me cry.
They do not mention the fact that Philomene got Minfilia's dad killed, but maybe tactful.
Does she know that?
Yeah, she does know that.
Okay.
It was a whole blow up back in the day when Minfilia found out the truth.
Ah.
So the conversation moves on. Philomene's like, you've come a long way, Minfilia, but you've got a lot more to do. You've got a lot further to go. And to do so, you must leave Ul'dah for Mordona.
It's like Alphinaud coached her.
I just had this idea on my own.
I know.
And Minfilia's like, yeah, you're right. Let's do it.
This sucks. This is so upsetting.
And more though.
God, now Alphinaud is even more enabled.
Minfilia's like, okay, I'm going to tell the Scions that this is the decision, and Philomene will support Minfilia in this whole move to the next step for the Scions. So Minfilia leaves the Solar, and then Philomene's following her out, but she and Alphinaud nod at each other.
What the fuck, you guys? Why do you hate Minfilia so much?
It's hilarious in how, like, ruthless it is, frankly.
Dude, yeah. It's messed up.
On this return voyage that got skipped over in that teleport, I'm assuming that Alphinaud and Philomene are, like, comparing the best way to manipulate Minfilia into this decision.
Right. I mean, I guess it's not... You would think that maybe Mom would be a little bit more sympathetic, but she was the one who decided to unleash a bunch of gooboos and rampage into a crowd, so maybe her judgment is a little fucked up. So, on brand.
It was just one, but point made either way.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just going to put this SUV in neutral on a slope into a parade, and whatever happens, happens. Great idea.
Pretty much.
And then, yeah, like, it's like criminal. It's...
Correct.
Yeah, she should be behind bars.
So maybe she's not dropped that kind of cold-hearted calculating.
No, I mean, yeah, like whatever it takes for the greater good. She's going about it in kind of not great ways.
That's a very interesting theory, actually, because I wasn't watching for that beforehand, but everything she's done right now supports that because of the whole, like, calculated distance from Minfilia.
Yeah.
And then like the way she comes home. And then also the whole thing with her selling Alphinaud's plan as soon as she gets past Minfilia's guard.
Fucking hell, yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing to watch for. Is like, is Philomene a cold-hearted Alphinaud, or is this just like a Realm Reborn rushing past the emotions?
I don't think she's like a stone cold bitch. You know, she's not like a sociopath or anything. But no, she will bulldoze you if you get in the way of her mission. And like, you know, her and Minfilia's mission has always been the same, but they go about it in entirely different ways.
Yep. So that is it for the main story for now. Before we wrap up, though, let's talk briefly about a few of the side quests that pop up in the Waking Sands.
Yeah, we contemplated doing a whole episode just on these side quests because they were, on the face of them anyway, they seemed like a really good bridge between where we left off on the MSQ and where we knew we were going on the MSQ. And talking with some of the other Scions, you know, the kind of the no-names, they are named, but, and seeing how that could like maybe flesh out a little bit more like Scion lore.
These are very annoying because they are like, you know, stupid middle ground between slice of life, meaningless side quest, and actual storyline.
Yep.
Like they have enough story there that they are like 3 to 5 steps a piece, but the stuff you do is just so shallow, it's not really worth expanding on in like a whole episode format.
I know, like they're not. I wish there was a different color of side quest. Like, okay, so the normal ones are like gold, and then we've got, you know, like the blue quests, those are important, and then we have MSQ quests. There should be one that's like maybe it's a little bit darker gold to indicate something that is a little bit more significant. Not that these are.
Whenever they do seasonal events, they're always that same beige color. So if you don't do side quests, like how the fuck are you supposed to tell the
some
rising
random ass seriously
from some, you know, go give the homeless people on Pearl Lane drugs?
Correct.
Same quest type.
It all looks exactly the same, and so yes, I have that. That's my problem.
Yeah,
is that they don't stand out in any way. And I think they should.
But these are annoying too because they are skirting depth but not quite there yet. Guys, either don't bother or just spend a bit more time on these things to make them more impactful.
Yeah.
So there are 3 of these things that pop up after we defeat the ultimate weapon, and they appear in the slew of unlocks after that story moment. And all 3 of them are accessed through the Waking Sands break room, the basement. The first one is like a mini tribe quest, actually. This one has to do with the U tribe, and it feels like they might have wanted to even like make the U tribe a full tribe quest.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the resources, and they have 5 tribe quests already in Realm Reborn, and that's a lot. As it is, I don't know, but this feels like a stand-in for the U tribe beast tribe quest.
Yeah.
The U tribe, again, these are the Mikote in the Forgotten Springs area in southern Thanalan. They are the ones that we worked with during the Company of Heroes storyline, where we had to prove our worth by killing a slightly bigger sandworm and all that stuff.
Yeah. The Scourge of Forgotten Springs, the Scourge of the Sagoli Desert, and we're like, boop, 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 done.
So what happens here is that Wigstan, who is a recently recruited Scion, he wants us to rally the U tribe to the Scion's cause to help keep the Amalja in check. So we can do bigger stuff besides watching the Amalja and trying to keep them from getting enough crystals to summon Ifrit.
Yeah, he's doing like perimeter strategy shit.
Yep.
He's like, I'm not good on the battlefield, but I can do this.
He's an ideas guy.
Yeah.
So he has the idea to send us to the U tribe to do the work.
I mean, the U tribe, they're not like, they don't mingle with people outside the tribe really. So, you know, if some random asshole showed up and they're like, you know, ladies, gather round. But if the Warrior of Light showed up, then, you know, they know us. He
sends us down there, and this is kind of a dumb story, frankly, because the pitch is, hey, you tribe, do you want to fight the Amalja for us, the Scions?
They're already doing that! That's their entire life! That's all they do!
That is their main threat. They are like, there's like sandworms and there's the Amalja.
Yeah.
This is already their number one threat. Why wouldn't they want to do so? Maybe they'll get some support from the Scions. But because this is the same thing as like Philomene. It's like, hey, do you want to fight the Amalja for us? And they're like, nah. We fight our own fights.
Yeah,
we
that's
might
fair.
fight the same thing that you're asking us to fight, but it's our idea. It's not your idea.
Right, yeah. We're not doing it for you.
we have to run around, and the chieftain, who is the same guy from the Company of Heroes, he's like, nah, but ask around. So we ask around. People are like, nah. But then a band of hunters gets ambushed and they're injured, and he wants us to bring them salve so they can free themselves. So we bring them salve and they run away, and then we come back and he's like, yeah. And that's the quest.
How impotent is the Nun? You know, the literal alpha male in this entire tribe. And he's like, I don't know, just ask some people, I guess. Like, he can't make a fucking decision on behalf of his tribe. Like, that's his fucking job.
Well, we know from the earlier quest line that he is not a well-liked leader. There are people with eyes on that position, so this reinforces his incompetence.
Great, yeah.
But pretty much we give the salve to some of the warriors, and then everyone likes us, so they're in.
Like, okay.
And that's it. We go back and say, all right, we got the U tribe on board.
Cool.
Next up is Slafwiz.
Slafsvis? S-L-A-F.
Slafsvis.
Slafsvis.
Slafsvis. Whatever, fuck it, close enough.
Slaffy.
Her sister was a scion that died in the Imperial attack on the Waking Sands. So she wants us to muster support against the kobolds. This feels like it should just be part of the kobold tribe quest. It's the exact same thing. It's kind of dumb that this is like a separate storyline because it treads in the literal same territory as the kobold tribe quest and has the same theme. So whatever. Anyway, she wants us to go and do a preemptive attack against the kobolds so that they can't strike back or strike against the Limsons. This is really weird, though, because she wants us to appeal to the commander of Outer La Nocia's Camp Overlook, not as a Maelstrom member, but as a former pirate. Because apparently every single soldier in this Maelstrom encampment is also a former pirate of this one guy's crew. His name is Bloedin.
Oh. Isn't he the guy he's stationed at Camp Overlook?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Again, like exact same shit as the tribe quests, but separate as well.
Literally, yes.
We talk to Bloedin and say, please, Bloedin, as a pirate, not as a member of the Maelstrom, whose fucking job it is, as a pirate, will you do a favor for your old crewmate, Slafswiz?
Slafswiz!
And strike against the kobolds before they strike us. And he's like, sure, that sounds like a great idea. Why don't you go and get my crew on board? Here's what we'll do. We'll tell them that there's a bounty on the kobolds, and for every kobold that they kill, they'll claim a bounty.
This is fucked up,
There's
man.
not a bounty. He just says to tell them that.
Oh, sure. Right.
So we run around, and again,
fuck a treaty.
The soldiers in the fucking camp, this is their job we're asking them to do, essentially. But we say, hey, how about you do your job, but off the clock for profit?
Right.
So, and they're like, yeah, booty, we're in. So then they all get together, and they're like, all right, we're going to do this strike. They're going to go and destroy some kobold crucible, and we're going to make a distraction. So we get some bombs. We go and like blow up 3 things in the kobold zone. While we did that distraction, they pulled off a great success on their operation where they destroyed this crucible that was being used for some kobold BS.
Okay.
And then done. At that point, Bloedin says, okay, so why don't you go and ask Commander Riki back at the Maelstrom HQ in Limsa, why don't you ask her to put a bounty on those kobolds now?
What the fuck?
So we then go to Riki and say, hey, we did this thing. No one asked us to do.
This is an atrocity that we have enacted on the kobolds.
Hey, Commander Riki, these guys all got together and they killed some kobolds. And she's like, cool, that's great.
What the fuck?
Great initiative. I'll put a bounty on them. So then she makes the paperwork to claim the kill bounty retroactively on the kobolds that those pirates just killed. And that's the quest.
Gross.
The last one is given by Radolf, who wants us to assist the Maelstrom with countering the Sahagin in Camp Skull Valley. So we head over to that fortress that's in western La Nocia that is between the Aleport area and the Sahagin tribe area. So we get there and talk to Commander Falkbrida, and she asks us to protect a shipment of crystals that are coming in from the Isles of Umbra. And it seems like someone gave the word to the Sahagin that the crystals are on the way, so they'll need some extra protection. And we head to Aleport, and we get roped into helping to load supplies. There's this guy on the docks whose name is Dawson. He's a Rogadin, and he has a fucking Serpent Reaver tattoo on his face. You know, the 3 azure claw marks?
Yeah.
He's walking around like that.
Good God.
In Aleport. And he's like, hey, you know, he's acting super sus. He's like, okay, so the ship's not here yet, but why don't you go load some supplies? So we have to do 3 loads of carting supplies from like a pile of junk to the dock where the ship's going to land. So we go back and forth 3 times carrying boxes. And then he's like, thanks. All right, I got it from here. The ship's due to come in soon with the crystals. And we're hanging around waiting for it to come in. At that point, though, some random sailor comes up and yells that the Serpent Reavers are attacking the main gate.
Oh my God.
And Dawson says, okay, you go take care of that attack. I got this covered.
Sure.
I will unload the crates. I got it, buddy.
Oh my God.
We run away. We go and defeat like 3 Reavers at the front gate. And then when we get back, surprise, surprise, the guy with the innocuous blue claw tattoo on his face, he's gone, as are the crystals.
What?
Everyone's like, oh, I never saw that coming. And then the actual
Holy
Dawson,
shit.
who's like a here, he's there and is like, there's an imposter here. The nerve.
Yeah, like 2 enormous clues. 1, your face is fucked up. And 2, you're a Rogadin and your name is Dawson.
Yes. We go back to Commander Falkbrida and say, hey, we fucked up. And she's like, okay, well, the Sahagin have the crystals now, so we better blow them up so no one gets them. And at this point, a pile of side quests unlock in the fort. There are like 4 different side quests that appear here. 2 of them are to go kill random guys in the area. One of them is to kill the Serpent Reaver captain who is behind this BS. His name is Dry Snaggle.
Dry Snaggle.
Yes.
Like dry snaggle.
Yes. But like one word. Maybe Drisnagil. I don't know. Anyway, he's their captain.
Okay.
And then we have to go and throw bombs at crystals, like at the crystal stashes. So we head into the Sahagin territory. We head for that Serpent Reaver fortress that's deep in their area. You know, the place with like the jellyfish.
Yeah.
There's that fate there all the fucking time. That turns
It's like
normal...
a little cove with like a little fort.
Yeah, and the fate turns the normal mobs into fate mobs. So you got to sink down to kill them. And it's a huge pain in the ass because there's like 50 in there.
Yes.
So we go there and we kill some guys and then we blow the crystals up. We come back and we turn all 5 side quests in. They say, great, good job. You stopped the Sahagin from using those crystals.
Yay.
And that's it. That's the quest.
What have we learned here today?
Quality over quantity.
What have we accomplished?
So I think that the mechanical purpose of this stuff, because at this point in time, they are throwing right side gear, the jewels, necklace, rings, whatever, at you left and right.
Yeah.
Because the main story quest gives you a bunch of rings. These side quests like throw gear at you too. So it feels like, here you go, you're level 50, have a pile of fucking gear.
Yeah.
And so like every single step here gives you right side options to choose from. They're serving that kind of mechanical function of catching up your probably pretty shitty right side gear because they neglect that part during leveling almost entirely.
Yep.
Unless you have access to a goldsmith.
Correct.
Weird stuff. It's a lot more substantial than most of the like, okay, so welcome board adventurer. Why don't you go and kill like 3 goats or whatever for their meat and bring it back to me? Yeah. It's got more than that, but it still is skirting substantiality.
Yes.
I thought it was worth mentioning because they are a bit more in depth and also pretty absurd, frankly.
For real.
Beyond that, Jen, any other thoughts on what we talked about today?
No.
Great. Next time, we'll be playing through the main story quest on the properties of primals.
And that will do it for today's episode. Of course, we appreciate you guys so much for listening. And we got a couple ways if you want to reach out to us. We got the podreturnffxiv at gmail.com. And then, of course, we also have the Discord, which is very fancy and super cool. So check the show notes for that. If you want to just chat to people, join group runs, share screenshots, glams, whatever. Like, it's a really nice group of people. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening, of course. We hope you enjoyed the episode. And have a good day or night. And we will see you next time.